The diminished arpeggio is one of the easiest, coolest, and fun things that you can do if you're an intermediate guitar player, if you're a beginner guitar player, or if you're an advanced guitar player. So here's the best part about this. I'm going to give you 3 different easy methods of using the diminished arpeggio in your soloing and your shredding and your just generalized guitar playing or your improvising or whatever you want to use it for. There's one that you can use that's for everyone. You can use all of them if you want to. That's entirely up to you. But more importantly, I'm going to show you where, when, and how to actually use it to sound professional, to sound really good and legit. So let's get into the easiest ways to use diminished. So first and foremost, let's talk about what a diminished triad actually is before we hop on the guitar. So unlike the major and minor triads, which we have a root third fifth for major, we have a root flat third fifth for minor, meaning that if we had a major triad like A, C sharp, E, to make it minor, we flat the third like A, C, E. You can also simply just use the circle of fifths. If you're in a major key and you go to the root, which is A, you'll see that there's a C sharp in the key signature. If you were in a minor, for example, there's no sharp or flat, so C is already naturally C natural, right? So the diminished triad is a little bit weird because we're going to take a minor triad and we're going to also flat the fifth. So if we had A, C, E and we wanted to make it diminished, we're going to flat that third and make it A, C, E flat. That creates a diminished triad. Now, with that being said, we need to understand where this actually happens. So all this stems from the circle of fifths, and it stems from understanding scales in a diatonic function, aka triads, chords, things like that. How does that work? Well, all you need to know are major and minor scales, okay, that create those triads. So a major scale has 7 notes, just like the minor scale. If we stack, let's say C major, if we're in that key, if we stack triads with all 7 notes, A, starting on C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, basically what you're going to see is the 1, 4, 5 chords are going to be major, the 2, 3, 6 is minor, and then the 7 is diminished, okay? You can figure this out just by doing some simple math, by figuring out the minor third versus the major third in the stacked formation, or you could just go with what I'm saying on this, okay, or just look it up somewhere else. But anyways, you're going to see that the 7 is diminished, okay? So the 7th note in a major scale is 1/2 step away from the root. So the note B would be the 7th scale degree in the key of C major. So your diminished chord or triad or whatever you're doing with it, that's where it's going to start. Okay, that's really important. Hold that on for a second. The minor key, like let's say A minor, if you go through a minor scale, like let's say the relative to C major, A minor, you're going to see that 1, 4, 5 is minor, 2 is diminished, and then 3, 6, 7 is major. Okay? So if we kind of understand this, you'll see that the key of C major and A minor, they have the same notes. That means that they have the same chords. So the 7 is B diminished for major, and then the 2 is B diminished for minor. Both of them do the same function where they create tension, and we're going to use that tension and we're going to resolve it back to the tonic of C major or A minor. We're going to get into that in just a minute here of how to do that, okay? But if we're understanding this so far, basically what we're going to do is in, let's say, chord progressions or sweeping progressions or just you noodling with scales. It doesn't matter what you're doing. We can use the diminished arpeggio pretty much whenever we want to, mostly, and then resolve it back whenever we feel like the chord progression is resolved. Okay, so one of the best practices that you can do to this is you can listen for the tension chords in your backing tracks if you're playing along to certain things. So I have videos about this with how to figure out these tension chords and all that stuff. Basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to listen to the dominant chord or the 5 chord, which is major 5 chord, or we're trying to listen for the diminished chord. Okay, those are the 2 main tension chords. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go on the guitar. We're going to use these 2 keys, C major and A minor, and we're going to go through diminished arpeggios in the 3 ways. Number 1, alternate picking. Number 2, sweep picking. Number 3, tapping. All of them are actually pretty easy, and I think that anywhere from late beginners and beyond can do that. So as long as you can do some basic movements, you'll be fine. So if we're in the key of C major and we start on fret number 8 and we play a major scale, just like that, we're going to know that the 7th note in the scale right there is B. That's our diminished spot. We're also going to use that down the octave, okay? So on the 7th fret of the low E string, that's my diminished spot. So what we're going to do first is we're going to learn the alternate picking version. simply going 7 to 10, which is, this is 2 note per string by the way, so 7, 10 on the low E, and then go up a fret and do the same spot on the A string, or the same position rather. So we're now doing 8 to 11, up a fret for D string, 9, 12, and then the next one is 10 to 13 on the G string, and then we're going to go up 2 frets for the B string, which is 12 to 15, and then 13 to 16. And then we can resolve it back to the tonic, okay? So in just a generalized example, if I was doing C major pentatonic, now I resolve that tension after doing that diminished arpeggio, okay? There's a lot of different ways you can resolve it, but that's probably the easiest way, okay? The way number 2 that we're going to do is we're going to sweep it, okay? So one of the easiest ways that you can do diminished is by sweep picking it. If you can't sweep pick yet, just alternate pick this for now, that's totally fine. Or if you want to do the sweep, just go very slowly with the motion like this and like this, okay? If you need extra help with this stuff, go click the link below. I have a masterclass. It explains all this stuff in there, and then you can book a call with me and then we can chat, okay? So the easiest way that you can do a diminished sweep is by doing this kind of shape. It looks like a triad, but just, again, with the flatted fifth. So you basically be doing B, D, F from the G string down, which would be 4, then 3, then 1, like that. And then you're going to hit the 4 on the high at the end. Then you're going to go up 3 frets, and it's the same chord, just inverted. Another up 3 frets. And you can keep going, so on and so forth. So if you were soloing in C major pentatonic, tension and release, right? It's a really easy method to do it. Now the way number 3 is simply the same thing as the alternate picking version, except we're going to tap the 3rd note of each arpeggio, which by the way, all these ones have a 7th in there, which is just a flat 7. So B, D, F, and then A flat, and we're just rotating that. So we're going to do 7, 10, and we're going to tap 13. And you could do this in any tab method you want. If you know the VH way, if you know Randy's way, or you could just hammer on. That's the way I'm going to be doing it. And then we're going to go up a fret, up a fret, up a fret. B string, we got to go up 2 frets, and then high E. Okay, so now that we've gotten the 3 methods, the best part about this is the exact thing that we did works for the relative minor. So if I wanted to do the same kind of stuff, like starting with the alternate picking version, whoops. Now I've resolved that tension in the key of A minor. I could do the same thing with, I just did that one, I could do the tapping part, so I could do right? You could do the sweep, obviously. And then you're good to go. So those are, in my opinion, the 3 easiest ways to use diminished on the fretboard. Okay, this is just an introduction. If you want like a full in-depth, I have this video called The Ultimate Guide to Diminish. Click on the video in the description. It is a freaking awesome video. I love that video because it tends to really help people a lot. So with that being said, let me know if you have any questions. If you want to get in contact, you want to work with me, click the links below, and I'll see you in the next video.